Hi everybody, it's Dandruff with your bonus cartridge for Wednesday, September 19th, 2018. Hey, cool! 3 of these in a row. Who'da know? Who'da thunk it? Anyway, I actually got my glasses all smudged up from doing the thumbnail for today's episode. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I don't know if you've heard about this, PC building video that went around the internet, I guess, over the weekend, or it was like late last week. It's by The Verge. Now, I want to say I don't actually have the video. The video's been taken down because it's gotten so much negative publicity. It's gotten such a blowback because the guy building the PC seemingly has no idea what the hell he was talking about. Now, if you guys haven't noticed, I tend to be a little bit computer obsessed, we'll call it. Yeah, I love my machines. I've got a computer right here that I've actually never used. I found it and I wanted to see if it ran, and I never figured out if it was going to run, so I need to throw it out. So yeah, it's sitting right here. It's basically just, I'm going to grab the disk drive out of it, or the DVD burner. I don't know if that's a DVD burner or not. Anyway, if it's a good drive, I'm going to take it out of there. I'm just going to pretty much throw out everything else. But like, I have a number of computers. I really like computers. They're awesome machines. I love to build computers. I love to help other people build computers. And The Verge had made this video about how to build a gaming rig. Now, they didn't go over at all why they chose the parts that they had chosen. And I gotta say right away, if you're building an Intel machine right now, you either, 1, are an Intel fanboy, or 2, you have more money than sense. Because nobody's gonna buy an 8086 or an 8700K just to have the number one spot for gaming metrics, gaming performance for your CPU. Most PC gamers know that your GPU matters a lot more than your CPU, even in CPU-bound games like Minecraft, like I'm trying to think of some other CPU-bound games, Arma 3, some other ones. Generally, your CPU, not that important compared to your GPU. Not going to say your CPU isn't important at all, because obviously you're going to pair something like a Pentium with a 1080 Ti. You're gonna choke the living hell out of your 1080 Ti. Anyway, one of the things that they had talked about was the first steps that you need in order to build a computer, and they mentioned a table. Yeah, you need a table to build a computer. It just seemed really like, and I mean, I watched the video from Gamers Nexus too, like, why didn't they just include oxygen to breathe and food in your belly in order to get these things done? Like, you know, you need to be able to read in order to put together a computer. Like, let's like have some actual help here. They mentioned too that you need tweezers and an Allen key to build your computer. I mean, I've needed an Allen key a couple of times because I've done some crazy shit with my computers, but I don't generally need an Allen key. If you need an Allen key for a computer, you're not doing it right. One of the things that got me the most was he had mentioned that there were little pads inside the case for your computer, and they were to insulate the power supply to stop other components from getting shocked. Oh geez. There was something along those lines. There were foam pads inside the case to stop other components from getting shocked. Now, as I was talking to a friend, if you were to run a screw through this component to hold it into the case, I don't know, wouldn't that screw conduct electricity? Crap, I'm gonna lose the big good camera. So everybody enjoy the nice bit of flowerage I have up here, and then I get to talk for as long as I want to. Okay, cool. So wouldn't screwing in a screw into the power supply then, by that logic, transfer power through the screw because the screw is steel and therefore conducts electricity? Okay, so the reason why that padding is in the case is to dampen vibration from the fan spinning inside the power supply. Never open a power supply, by the way. Please do not ever open a power supply. If you're ever around an open power supply, please don't go anywhere near it. If the person has opened it for whatever reason, they better know what they're doing. I'm not going to say don't, because you never know. Somebody might be making a case mod. They may want to make a custom case for their power supply. If you know what you're doing, I can't stress this enough. If you know what you're doing, go ahead. But if you do not know what you're doing in any way, shape, or form, and I would put myself in this category of not knowing what you're doing as much as I know about computers, do not open a power supply, because it can literally kill you. It can kill you. I'm not joking. I'm not being facetious. I'm not trying to play it up in any way. A power supply is the most dangerous component inside your computer. It can kill you because it has giant capacitors inside that are meant to hold lots of voltage, lots of amperage, and it's also meant to discharge that very, very quickly. You discharge that into yourself, and it could stop your heart. I'm not joking. Do not mess around with a power supply, especially an exposed power supply. So just want to throw that out there. Those pads, again, are for sound dampening, vibration dampening from the fan inside the power supply. One of the things that he does is that he puts in his memory first, which, okay, fine. He puts it in the wrong spot. Always check your motherboard manual. Every single motherboard comes with a manual, and just by reading that manual, you will be able to put together your computer. That's how I do it most of the time. 9 times out of 10, I don't know what I'm doing when I have parts in front of me. I just have a general concept of, I know how to put these together, and I know that these parts fit. But what the specifics of these parts are, specifically, usually it's the motherboard. I've got a board right here, actually. If just read the manual, it'll tell you what slots for your RAM you're supposed to populate first, as well as if you have multiple graphics cards, for those crazy people out there who do, it'll tell you what slots you need to put what into, as well as there's a lot of different motherboards out there right now with a couple of different M.2 sockets, and my daughter's board has 2 different M.2 sockets. Her drive wouldn't work in one of them. Put it in the other one, it boots up just fine. And that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. That's good. The other port is for an NVMe SSD. She currently has a SATA one. Which, going back to the video, the guy says he's got a 480 gig Kingston SSD. If you look at that SSD, it has 2 notches in the M.2 form factor. In the drive itself, it's got 2 little notches, which means that has to be a SATA drive. That cannot be an NVMe drive. That's SATA using NAND flash. I don't believe that there is a SATA drive that uses NVMe. It would be really stupid, because the NVMe is operating way too fast for the SATA controller to handle. Sorry if I'm going to get a little bit technical in this video. I like computers. So let's see, what else was there? I'm trying to think, because again, this video's been removed, and I don't want to have to make a rebuttal video. I could if I really wanted to, and I was thinking maybe I'd do that as a weekend project, but I thought I'd maybe just talk about it now. Leave a comment if you want to see me do a full rebuttal. Maybe we'll do that as a bonus show this Friday, or maybe we'll just do it this Saturday. Instead of doing a bonus show, I'll do a show on Saturday, and we'll do that. Other than that, if I don't get enough requests for it, I'll just do regular gameplay. We'll play some Dreadnought. How about that? So anyway, getting back to the video, he also says that when they go to apply the, I'm getting ahead of myself. He puts in the graphics card, and then puts in so he's got board in, RAM in, graphics card in, and then he puts in his power supply, then he puts in his radiator for his processor, and I've never done this. I've never done this in this way. I've always put the processor into the board before I do anything, and then I put the board into the case. Then I put RAM in, then I put on the cooler, then I put in the Actually, I may not put in the RAM right away. I might put on the cooler, then put in the RAM. You generally want to work from the processor and then work outward, because you're going to put a lot of things in the top of the board where the processor is, and then you got more space downward. He didn't show... I'm getting ahead of myself again because this is just such a frustrating video. He didn't... I don't know how he tried to get everything in there. When he applied the cooler, he had some type of 240 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler thing. That's fine. That's a great cooler to put on his Intel i7 processor. That's fine. But he notes that they usually come out of the box with a layer of thermal grease applied, or thermal paste, whatever you want to call it, and he proceeds to say, but they usually don't put enough on. He says they usually don't put enough on, and my red flags went, wait, what? No, that's the best application of thermal paste you're probably ever going to get, is because it's not going to be stock thermal paste, it's going to be aftermarket thermal paste, because anybody who's going to buy an aftermarket cooler like that wants something good. So, 9 times out of 10, let's just, edge case scenarios do happen. So there he proceeds to put on what seems to be a half a tube of thermal paste onto his processor, along with the thermal paste that it was pre-applied. And now I don't know, like, if you've never bought thermal paste before, a tube is about this big. It's, a couple of centimeters, and it's meant to last between anywhere from 5 to 8 applications. Like, there's enough in there for a lot of processors. There's enough in there that you can mess it up and redo it and redo it and redo it and redo it, and still have plenty of thermal paste left over for when you gotta change it again in a couple of years, because the stuff does dry out and you do want to change it. He just gobbled it all on. Didn't use any type of, like, preferred method, whether or not you use the P method, the little P. It looks like the size of a pea. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's either the P method, where you make a little P, or some people do a line. I have been using the X format for the last 3 years because I'm on the 2011 platform and there's a lot more CPU that I've got to cover. Okay? I'm not going to do a big P on 2011. I do a little X. Just to get better coverage, because, yeah. So, it was like, when he shows it, it was like 7 dots around the CPU, and just why? None of that was necessary, because he already had thermal paste applied onto the cooler. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of other things that they didn't show plugging in the front side header at all, which is arguably the most important, one of the most difficult things to do, because you should read the manual on that one. You've usually got 4 to 6 little things that you got to plug into this little tiny square. Like, it's pretty difficult, but once you get it in, it's done. It's done. Doesn't go over that at all. Basically, just like, halfway throws it together and then is like, look, we're up and running games. Isn't that great? Yay, here we go. I don't know. It was not a good video. I'm glad it was taken down. I'm glad that a lot of people saw that it was just awful and knew it was not providing good advice. All that being said, I don't think it was a troll video. I don't think that this was done in terms of just to warrant a response from people, just to warrant the response that it got, because some people do that kind of thing where they'll make a, hey, this is a troll, they'll try to make a troll video, they'll just try to piss off everybody by being as wrong as possible. But this didn't seem to be that. This seemed to be somebody who was legitimately trying and just failing at providing accurate information and outright lying about some other things. The whole, like, power supply giving you shocking the rest of your components or shorting out the rest of your components. No, I was so just that information was so inaccurate and irresponsible. No. You can plug in a power supply turn it on without plugging it into a motherboard and just whip the cables around if you want. Just have the cables just going anywhere. Just try to plug cables into your arm. You're like, while it's running, well, whatever. It'll be fine. It won't do anything to you because it's designed to be safe. As long as you don't stick things into the unit itself, you'll be fine. Like you can try to run those connectors across your motherboard. It won't do anything because it's designed to be safe. Note, please don't do that, just in case something happens and you want to blame Dandruff for that. I'm not recommending you do this. All I'm saying is that they're designed to not shock you. So, I don't know. I'm done. I guess I'm just done for now. I'm gonna go back to wondering why Sony doesn't put one of these into their PlayStation Minis, because these things are literally like 5 cents at this point. This one's even Nintendo branded. I don't understand this. The Verge should have done their research. They should have really looked at this video and said, is this something that we want to put out? Is this information correct and accurate and representing of us in every way? And I think The Verge put their foot in their mouth with this one. So if you have any PC building questions, anything that you would like to know, I'm not the best overclocker. I'm nearly not an overclocker, so try to avoid questions about overclocking. But if you have any questions that you want about building a PC, what's good lately, what do I think of the RTX line? That kind of sucks, to be honest. 2080 is just a 1080 Ti as far as I could tell, with ray tracing, which isn't even out yet. Believe me, I've been watching videos on the 2080 and 2080 Ti all day. Pardon me. Really, if you got any questions, please let me know. I would be happy to answer anything that you would want to know. I got gas. I got so much gas. I'm just going to end this now. Social media links are over here, everybody. Thanks so much for watching my show. We got your Twitch, we got your Twitter, we got your Facebook, and Patreon. Go check that Patreon one out if you want to help support the channel. Click up here to watch the full episode for today's show. Click down here to watch yesterday's episode. Both of those links are in the description down below. And click over here to subscribe to my wonderful, wonderful channel. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Don't build a PC like The Verge.